last year I did 450,000 in GCI. So it was a good year.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, my name is Aram. I'm a real estate agent here in the Chicagoland area. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit the like button, comment your thoughts, feedback, questions, concern, compliments, insults in the comment section below. Anything we need for the algorithm is great. And then subscribe if you are new. And if you are new or if you're a returning subscriber, this is the type of video I haven't done in the past. We are interviewing another real estate agent, a fellow subscriber, and definitely a top producer. So his name is Cody. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, but we're gonna talk about today's basically how he built his business and how he's generating leads from YouTube, and hopefully that helps me and then it helps everybody watching. So Cody, give us a little background on you, and then we'll get into it, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, I mean, I'm super excited to do this interview. You are way ahead of me in subscribers and views on your channel. So that's pretty cool to see, but we've got
not income. So
yeah. Okay, fair enough. But it'll be cool to kind of give some value back and forth about what we're doing that's working for your business and for mine. So I've been selling real estate for about 7 years now. I'm coming up on 7 years in April. So just under that. And
nice.
I'm based in Salt Lake City, Utah, born and raised here, lived here my whole life. And first got into the business actually because of real estate investing. It was always a goal of mine to purchase my first property when I got out of high school. I just thought, hey, that's kind of a cool thing. It's the American dream, whatever. I'm going to go down that route. And I bought a place, and it only took one mortgage payment to realize that paying a whole mortgage payment kind of sucks. So I actually ended up getting a couple of roommates and rented out some bedrooms in my house. And
how old were you? If you don't mind me asking.
21.
So 21, you buy your first place.
Yeah.
Was it a single family?
It was a townhome.
Townhome, okay.
Townhome, rough part of town. I mean, I wasn't making a whole lot of money. I was making like $12 an hour. Managed to save up a little bit of money. I mean, this place was rough. I was really just kind of, I got into basically whatever I could at the time. So
yeah, you made it happen. So you bought it and then you rented out some rooms. Okay.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 28, almost 29.
Dude, you were young as that. Okay. Carry on.
Yeah. So bought that place at 21, got a couple roommates, and realized, you know what, if I actually just moved back into my parents' house where I was living before, I could now be making money every single month, just renting out the room that I already have. I'm paying down the mortgage. I get these tax benefits. I mean, it was something that kind of just clicked in my head. Like, maybe I want to be a landlord, right? And then you hear the horror stories. Everybody's like, oh, don't be a landlord. It sucks, but I kind of ignored that stuff and said, there's a lot of wealthy people out there who own real estate. So maybe this is something I want to do. So I kind of got into real estate, looking at investing. How do I become a landlord? How do I get more properties? How do I do all of that? And it led me into sales, where I loved real estate so much. I love talking about it, and the money aspect and the wealth and just the power of owning your own home, even just what it does for your average person. And absolutely loved it and thought, you know what, I'm going to start selling real estate. So that's how I got in the business. At the very beginning, I joined a team. I talked to 3 or 4 different people, and every single one of them said, join a team right out the gate. And I'm glad I did, because I probably wouldn't be here if I hadn't.
Really?
Yeah, because dude, real estate's tough, man. It's a tough industry. You really got to cut your teeth, and it takes time to build up a business. And, it sucks going the first 2-3 months without closing a deal. You're like,
first 3 months, my man, try a year sometimes.
Yeah.
It's tough out here. Okay.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, dude. It's like, it took me, let's see, in my first 6 months, I closed 2 deals. I closed one in month 3 and then closed one in month 6. That's tough. When you go from having a normal paycheck, every 2 weeks, to only get paid twice in 6 months is pretty tough. So,
but man, that's like above average though.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, compared to your average agent, definitely, that's above average. But it's so tough because getting started, you're just in a position where you don't know anything. You don't know what you don't know. And it's hard to get started because there's so many different ways to go about selling real estate. And especially for me, I mean, I was 21, 22 when I got my license. I I didn't know anything, man. I was this young kid, baby face. Nobody wanted to work. It felt like nobody wanted to work with me. So you just have to push through those things. And
Dude, we have the same exact story. I literally wanted to invest in real estate, but I had no money. So I'm like, how do I make money? But I want to start a business. So I discovered being an agent. And then I'm like, all right, I'll just be an agent and I'll make money and invest that way. So literally at 21, I was also 21 when I got my license. So literally same story there. So you joined the team, which actually, in the grand scheme of things, is actually a good idea. Now I think about it, I think it takes a special I mean this in a positive way. It takes a special type of stupid to do it on your own, which is me. Like honestly, if I had a little bit of guidance, probably would have been better off. But you know, if you're stubborn enough, you'll make it happen. So I want to go because I've seen enough interviews with agents where they don't ask like the nitty-gritty questions that I really care about. So can we dive into those a little bit?
Dude, I'm an open book. Let's go as deep as you want. I'll tell you all the numbers. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Let's do it. So year one, break down. So we know in the first 6 months you had 2 deals, right? And year one, you're with the team. So do you mind sharing your split and then how those 2 deals came about, and then what else happened the next 6 months?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a 50-50 split with my team. That was with my team member. And then in addition to that, with my team leader, I should say, in addition to that, I also had a 70-30 split with the office. So it was a super heavy split, man. That was at Century 21. And I mean, on a deal that the team provided to me, if they provided me with that lead, I paid off 50% right off the top to my team leader for providing the lead, providing the office, the training, all the stuff that he gives me. And then an additional 30% into the company for what they did. So I don't remember the math on that, but I think it's probably somewhere like my take home was like 40% of the overall gross amount. If I made a $10,000 check, I took about $4,000. Yeah.
And those 2 deals, were they your own deals or were these like deals that the team helped you with?
No, they were both deals that the team helped me with. I didn't get my first deal on my own until about month 9 or so.
Gotcha. And how many did you do total of the first year?
First year I did 6 deals and I think I made about $17,000.
You're always one step ahead of me, you jerk. I had 5.
Yeah.
But I had 2 rentals. Hold on.
But you've been there, man. I mean, it's like you've been there, and the thing about real estate is every single day, every year you're in the business, it gets a little bit easier. And that's the thing I love about it.
It really does. It really does. Like I'm in year 5. I've worked less, make more. You're probably working a lot more because of the way you get your business, which we're going to talk about in a minute here. So that's incredible. Okay. So to give you an idea of why I was stupid, I also took home a solid 44% of every dollar I made, but I was not part of a team and I just had to do everything on my own. So in the grand scheme of things, definitely the better way to do it, right? Because they were able to give you your first couple deals and, you know, carry on from there. So of the 6 deals, bro, how many were given by the team? How many did you get? And the ones you got, how did you get them? Was it cold calling, Sphere, all that?
Yeah, sure. So that I got 5 deals from the team. 5 out of the 6 were from the team. Those were from Facebook leads and Google pay-per-click. This was back in 2015, I guess.
That was a wild time.
You know, Facebook and Google were kind of up and coming at that time. And then I think kind of, you know, they're still going now, but that was still kind of like beginning days, you know, where a lot of people hadn't figured that out. So we were pulling leads from Facebook and Google for the team. That first lead I got on my own was actually from an open house that I'd held. It wasn't my place. It was just a listing from somebody in the brokerage. Held the open house. Somebody walked in the door, chatted them up, and sure enough, you know, they became a client. So that's how I got my first deal on my own. But I mean, for the first, you know, probably 3 or 4 years, I was pretty heavy into the Facebook leads and Google pay-per-click stuff.
Gotcha. So give me a background in year 2. And the reason I'm asking, because eventually here, we're going to have a little moment where we realize you figured it out and then we're going to have exponential growth. So I'm slow dripping anybody watching right now. I'm getting that view time. So year 2, tell me what's happening in year 2. How many transactions? How many came from team and how many were you able to do? And then what did you do to get it?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking at the information here on my screen. I did 21 deals in that.
He's back.
Yeah. So that's like over a triple, which is pretty cool. Went from 6 deals, I think I said, to 21.
Yeah, way over triple. You got that.
I was still heavy on that split. I mean, looking at all my deals here, I had one, two, man, maybe only 3 or 4 deals that were my own. Most of them were still coming from the team. And at that point, I was in a price range where homes were selling for like, between 200 and 400,000. So price points were lower, commissions were lower. I ended up making about $77,000 that year. So
no, it's still not bad.
Yeah, not a bad thing. I mean, that's the median salary, right? Or pretty close, maybe a little
Especially
over.
if someone's giving you the business. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So what was I'd be curious because you're not really doing lead gen. So the 3 to 4 deals, were those like random open houses, sign call, like were there those type of leads, or were you like on purpose trying to get business?
Yeah. So one of them I found myself through a Facebook group. Some guy had posted, "Hey, I need an agent." I just reached out, kind of struck up a conversation and got a deal out of it. Looking at this list here, the other 3 that I got were actually from my SOI. So I knew a guy just through a community thing, and his sister actually needed to sell his sister and her husband needed to sell their place. So we sold their home, bought him a new one. And then the other one was just a friend of the family as well. So it kind of came from all over, one from Facebook and then the SOI as well.
Got it. So some student influence and then some from Facebook. Sweet. Yeah. So and then what does your day-to-day look like? Are you getting up at 10 a.m., just going on showings? Are you lead generating the whole like first 2 years? What are you doing?
Yeah. So at that time, I mean, I'm going through the whole morning routine thing, generally getting up about 6, maybe 6:30. Now it's a little bit later, actually, ironically, but at that time I was really hustling. So I was up at like 6:30, usually in the office by about 8. And then on the phones most of the day, that was really it.
Cold calling?
Yeah. Cold calling a little bit, but mostly calling these Facebook leads that had come in on our website. So,
hold on a second. So you're actually, essentially the leads that you were closing, these are leads that you were able to close. This isn't somebody like someone say, "Hey, this guy's looking to buy, go." You actually have to call, qualify, follow up, all that.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean,
that's important because I guarantee you there were team members on your team that did not do 21 deals. I guarantee it. So that's huge. All right. So year 3, break it down. Same thing. How many deals total, and then how many came from your end versus team end?
Yeah. So year 3, I did 30 deals.
Woo! Growth, baby.
A little bit more there. Yep. I during this time had made a move, brokerage and team wise. I ended up doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 deals on my own. So I was getting up to the point where I was closing more deals on my own, but by this time I'd actually started generating my own leads on Facebook and Google and all that. So I wasn't taking those leads from the team leader anymore. I was doing my own lead generation at that point. So I was paying for the leads, but I was keeping a larger part of the commission. So that year ended up making 6 figures, $128,000 in GCI. And that's like take home. That's not like the gross.
This guy. That's GCI, you said?
Yeah. That's my number, right? That's after all the splits, all the, whatever. That's my take home commission.
Oh, that's your net, my man. Then you are in the clear. Your GCI is probably God knows where, probably like 150, 160, something like that.
Yeah.
So again, I'm noticing a pattern. So you join a team, right? So if you weren't part of a team, your first year you would have 1 deal, second year 4 deals, third year 7 deals, right? I'm sure you would have had more, but that's where most agents are like. That's like the natural growth. Being part of a team allowed you to have all these other transactions, which probably allowed you to build a bigger sphere of influence, which we will probably see as we get to year number 5. But what I could see here is right away, like a sign that you were going to be successful is that you kind of, in those first 2 years, you took initiative. You actually learned how to close those leads. And then year 3, you learn how to generate your own leads, which is why year 3, you went from 77K to 128K, which is insane, right? Yeah. So it's like, yes, you could join a team and be not successful, but if you join a team and you have purpose behind it, from what I'm learning from you, that's really what led to you actually making a decent, 128 in your 3rd year, I think is phenomenal. Despite what you see on YouTube, people making like millions their first year, that's not normal. Agents I see are struggling, So that is incredible for your 3rd year. And you're 24 years old?
I'm 24 at that point. Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous, and my competitive edge is killing me. But year 4, but I'm also like super inspired. So year 4,
Good.
break it down. Let me guess, 40 deals?
No, I wish. I actually only did 30 the same in 2018.
Hey,
So that
didn't
was
go backwards. That's all
I
that
didn't go
matters.
backwards, which is good. But I also that was the year I tried to start my own team. So at this point, I was 100% on my own. I went out, left the team, did my own thing, generated my own leads, got my own office, went through that whole thing.
Yeah.
And at this point, I closed. This was kind of a stagnant year, not the same amount of growth as I had hoped for, but ended up doing $132,000 in GCI. So still not bad, not a huge jump from the year prior, which is unfortunate, but I mean, that's just the way it goes. I was working a lot on the team. I was trying to build out this team, get people on doing what I did to get started, hopefully building them from 1 deal to 7 to 14 to 21. And, but I'll be honest, it just unfortunately didn't quite work out. I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first time trying to do something like that. Didn't have the right people, the right systems in place. And ultimately, didn't work out. So it still had an okay year. I mean, I'm not complaining about 130 grand in a year, but
Hell no.
it's a learning term. Yeah.
I will say, man, I struggle with that too, because I have seen like in my DM special, a lot of agents have like one good year and then they start starting a team, right? Trying to get out of production. And it was, honestly, most people it's too soon. And I think I told you I was thinking about, I'm launching a team soon. And what you just said, it makes me worry because as you know, it's probably going to be an investment of your time to train these people, right?
Yeah.
So you have to take away from your production a little bit, which will cause that stagnation. So it's something I worry about. So that's actually good that you said that, because I need to structure my situation in a way where it does not take away from my production, but helps it, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good point right there.
Absolutely. I would go pretty heavy on that. I would focus on what you can do to, like, exactly like you said, put it in a position where you're going to be giving them time to train them, get them up going on their own deals, but you don't want your own production to suffer during that time.
I need you to check in with me every now and then. Make sure I'm on top of everything here.
Absolutely.
Right. Year 5. I have a feeling something's going to happen. I feel it in my bones. What's happening in year 5? Yeah.
So year 5, we're not getting there yet. We're not getting there yet.
Okay.
Wait till we get to year 6.
Cooking me right now. Okay.
I'm slow cooking. Yeah. Year 5 actually did go backwards. Only did 22 deals that year. I actually ended up making more money. One, because the price point of our market went up naturally, right? Prices have been increasing. So that helped. But I also put a heavier focus on working with higher quality leads to get into that, higher price range. So I sold a lot more houses in like the 400 to 500 range that year. So I made $161,000, but that's off of less deals. So less deals, more GCI. I did that because of a couple things. One, it was a higher price point by choice, but also just the natural market increase. And then 2, at this point, I was at a flat fee brokerage. So I was taking home basically 100% of the commission on every single deal.
May I ask, so between year 4 and year 5, what was the production? Like, did we go from 8 million to 10 million, or did we go from like 8 million to 7, but you had a higher split, so you made more? Like, what was the situation there?
Yeah, it was really a higher split. So in 2018, when I did 30 deals, my volume was 6.3 million. In 2019, which is year 5, I did 22 deals. So 8 less deals, but my volume was 7 million. So volume was only $700,000 higher, but that's on 8 less deals overall. So I was closing a lot more deals in that higher price point.
That's actually huge, because as an agent, people get caught up on the transactions, like how someone could do 100 deals and make less than someone that did 30. Yeah. Right. And that's a problem I have. I keep getting caught up on like the number of transactions, but really it's the production that matters. And the reality is you don't want to close 100 deals if you could just do 30. Life is much easier. So how did you, first, I apologize. I think somehow my heat's not on and I'm shivering. So give me 7 seconds to pick this heat up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm back.
7. He's back.
Back in frame. I'm back in frame. The heat's back on. I don't know why somebody put it at 72. I'm literally shivering in here.
Come on,
Okay.
man. We're bringing the heat.
Hell yes. This is a personal question, a selfish question. So
Sure.
right now, my price points are all over the place, man. I have had 2 closings this year for like 90K. You know, I've had for 400K. And then I have some buyers in that 500-600K range, right? A bunch of 3 to 4 is like my average, but I have a lot of low. I have a few high, right? Yeah. And I would love to just work with the high. However, I feel guilty because some of the ones on the low are just investors, you know, trying to get started. So I can't help myself. So how did you make that conscious shift from going, okay, I'm going to say no to deals, or like if someone comes to you wanting to buy a $200,000 house, do you say no? Do you refer it out? Like, how did you make that shift for you now? And how did you get the clients on the higher price point? So lay it on me.
Yeah. So first off, I think number one, you know, when you're just getting started, you'll take anything, right? You'll drive 2 hours for a showing. You'll sell a $50,000 home just because you're trying to make a couple bucks, right? To keep the, you know, pay the bills.
I sold a $51,000 home, just saying.
Well, there you go. 51. Yeah, exactly. Right. That's going to be a much smaller commission check than on a $500,000 house.
Right.
So
right.
What you really have to look at is first off, you just got to cut your teeth. You got to take those small deals until you get to a point where you've got some money in the bank and you can afford to turn down those deals, because it's not a good use of your time. If you want to continue to grow, you got to get to that point first. So get some money in the bank in the beginning. There's no way really around that. You've just got to do those deals, right?
You got to pay your dues in a sense.
You got to pay your dues. Yeah. And, you know, some people don't have to do that. That's not something that everybody needs to do, but I think it is something that's important to keep in mind that most of us out there, 98% of us are going to have to do that. Right. So that's number one. Number two is shifting your mindset, right? Once you get to that point, you need to shift your mindset and start thinking, what are the conversations I need to have in order to work with these higher end buyers? I need to be focusing on move up buyers or people with better jobs, right? They can afford a more expensive house. So shifting your mindset and just kind of thinking about that, that's where you're going to put your focus once you focus on it. And then from there, it comes down to really just being committed to the process and being committed to knowing that if you're doing X, Y, and Z to work on those deals at that higher price point, you can turn away the deal that falls in your lap that might only be $100,000 house. Right. So like I'm at the point in my business where if a person's not ready to go pre-qualified with a down payment and looking at like at least 400,000, I just refer it out. You know, I'll refer it out, or I'll kind of just honestly let it fall to the side because it's not worth my time. Right. I'm trying to continue pushing to the next level. And, you know, that's something that I've learned over the years is like, you really have to focus your time. And even though it can be hard because you're looking at it like, man, that could be a $5,000 check or a $10,000 check. Eventually you'll get to the point where that's not even worth your time, right? It's going to be too much stress, too much headache, and it's just not worth it. You need to let that go, refer it out, or just not work with it. So you can focus your time on those higher dollar tasks.
That's something I struggle with, man. Cause I had, at least this year I did much better in, because for the longest time I was terrified of being broke because I was broke. So I would take anyone, even like clients that were so damn difficult. Like I don't know if you saw my most recent video about dealing with like difficult clients. And I shared a story about this one couple, man, I had to be like, you know how you have those like crazy girlfriends, like you really got to be careful what you say. Like it was like that, dude. If I said something wrong, it would be like, oh my God, why would you say that? Or like, well, that's not really the case. It would be like a 30-minute conversation, right? So I was like pins and needles the whole time. Like I had to think 17 minutes about a joke. God forbid I, have the wrong comment. It was so stressful. And at the end of the day, man, it took me 2 years. I worked with them for 2 years and they dropped me. Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, what in the hell? So from now on, if they're difficult, toss them. Right. Yeah. But I haven't gotten to the point where if it's like a lower price point, toss them. Right. Yeah. That's kind of why I want to do the team thing, because now I don't have to toss them. I can still help the individual, but not such a time commitment from my end. Right. Maybe give it to a team member and then say, hey, here's how we're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Right. Yeah. That's actually huge. Now I'd be curious. So you're 50, or what does your day-to-day look like? What time are you waking up? What are you doing up until noon? And then what does afternoon look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wake up about 7 o'clock now. that's pretty typical day for me. I get up, I read a little bit, have a cup of coffee, and then get into a workout. So I'll work out for about an hour and a half. I'm pretty lazy. Some people might hate this, but I work out for an hour and a half, but I probably only actually work out for about 45 minutes, maybe, 35 to 45 minutes of that time. The rest of the time I'm just thinking. I'm maybe responding to emails. I'm thinking about strategy, how I want to move my business forward. That's kind of just the time where I take for myself, and
kind of a mental workout. So you're essentially doing two. I have a theory, bro. Everything, multiple benefits to what you do. If you're gonna work out, at least find time in there to then do your emails and stuff like that, because you're spending the time anyway. So that's awesome. And who needs to work out for an hour and a half? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, if I got in there, didn't have my phone, and was just in the mood to get a quick workout, I could do what I want to do within 35, 40 minutes. But I like to spend that time just thinking, going through the process of strategizing and thinking about my day, scheduling, getting back to emails, just kind of taking it slow. So I finished that up. I'm usually in the office by, like, I don't know, sometimes it's between 9 and 10, depending on, sometimes that's slow. Sometimes I just hang out with the family in the morning for a little bit.
Okay.
That type of stuff.
Married, kids? What's the situation there?
Yeah. Married and have 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old.
I love that. Hey, okay, carry on. So a 3-year-old, that means in your 4th year you had your kid?
Yeah. Yep.
That explains it. You have 30 and 20 because you had a kid, so you had to focus more efficient. So you can spend more time with your family. I love that. Carry on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that'll kick your butt in gears, having a kid. I mean, it forces you to get more focused and more efficient with your time. So I'm in the office by usually between 9 and 10. Usually those first couple hours, I like to catch up on deals, catch up on any fires that are, burning. And, that might involve talking to a client. It might involve interviews like this. It might, and I call those fires because those are the things that are most important in my day at that point.
You gotta take them out real quick.
Yeah. So you take them out real quick. I like to get those things off my plate so that I can focus up as much as my afternoon, either for showings or for free time, to work on things that are going to push my business forward. So that's kind of where I start off is, just getting the things done that need to be done right away. And then the afternoons will be showings, or it'll be YouTube, which we're going to talk about.
Oh, hell yes. Okay. So let's get to year 6. So year 5, how are you getting business? Still leads from
So year 5, a lot of it is SOI and still leads. It's stuff off of Bigger Pockets. It's from Facebook mostly, and SOI. So just getting out there hustling. Couple family deals that year. Like I said, I only did 22 deals, so probably 40%.
Was it split like 50-50 sphere of influence? By the way, SOI is sphere of influence, if anyone doesn't know. But is it like 50-50, or is it like 60 coming from Facebook leads and stuff like that? And like what's the split?
Yeah, it's pretty close. I was 11 deals, so actually exactly 50% SOI. And then the rest, I mean, I had Facebook, I had an open house, I had 3 more Facebook leads, I had another one there, and then 2 off of Bigger Pockets, the real estate investing website.
Love that. Okay. See, again, you're seeing even if you grew naturally, just by giving it time, because a lot of agents will say I closed 7 deals. I'm cutting out the team part, but like a lot of agents get to year 3, say I closed 7 deals and quit, right? Yeah. If you just hung in there, year 5, just by doing nothing else, you're closing 11, and it just naturally grows like that, because time is what it takes for your database to mature. So it took me a minute to learn that, right? Yeah. So
I'm still learning that, man. I mean, I'm still at the point where it's like, some days I'm thinking, man, I wish I could get more deals for my network. And other days I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I just got a call from so-and-so. They want to buy a house, right? Like I didn't do anything. They just literally called me out of the blue.
Dude, check this out. This morning, thinking the same thing. Man, I'm not doing enough, right? This morning, get an email. Hey, just saw on Instagram, you're a real estate agent. We went to high school together. We're on the same swim team. I'm looking to invest. Sent.
I was like, what? Yeah. And those are the conversations that come up as you stay in the business longer and longer. I mean, this is why you see those old real estate agents that are 50, 60, 70 years old. They don't do anything. They never show up to the office. It looks like they're just shooting the shit all the time. And still somehow they're closed 30 to 50 deals a year. And it's like, what the crap? It's because they've built out this network and they've been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years. And they've got their name out there. People know them, you know, and that's
Yep.
how they
Yep.
close business. That's a beautiful thing about real estate is it gets easier every single year you're in the business.
Yes. Yes. I cannot, like the first year, I'm sure you hustle like a maniac. Same here.
Yeah.
I simply don't have that work ethic anymore. I don't have it. Like, I don't know what got into me that first year, but now it's just like, it's harder to work hard when the money's easier to make.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, dude,
So
that's the thing. It's easy to get complacent when you've got money in the bank, right? If you got 30, 40, 50 grand in the bank, you're like, you know what, I'm good for 6 months, you know, you don't have to hustle as hard. And so some people are driven by the motivation behind it. Other
yeah.
people are driven by the fear of being broke. Right. And so that's been a big part of my, transformational journey over the last couple of years is like, I've got money in the bank, like I'm in a good spot, but like I continue to aspire to get to that next level and keep pushing. And so I've had to really kind of shift that for myself where it's like, it's not about a number in my bank account because that doesn't really matter, day to day. It's more about like, what do I want to achieve in my lifetime,
Let's get into that because this is, again, selfishly, one of the things it's a coaching call for Aram here. Forget anybody watching, okay? So that's something I actually always struggle with because, and a lot of it had to do with the way I was getting business. I hated it, right? So the second I would have anything in the bank account, all of a sudden I can't come to work on time. I don't know what's happening to me, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't until like year 4 when I just completely stopped doing the things I hate. And I've been, just focused on Legion that allowed for that. Like I focused on, my sphere and social media, which I do no matter what, right? That allowed my business to grow, right? But that stagnate, I noticed it last year because I had like a really, really good spring, right? But I noticed a slight 2-month drought in the summer, right? Where I went from, I think between like end of May, so June, July, August, I closed one deal and it was mine. It was like my condo, right? Yeah. I was like, no. So the way I went around, this is how I did it, but it's still something I struggle with, right? Because once, like, it's harder for me to work when I have money in the bank, but it's got nothing to do with ambition. It's just for some reason, it's that intensity isn't there yet, right? Sure. So what I've been doing is I just throw my money in a different account and I just live broke in a sense. Like I'll leave only like a month and a half worth of like income, like in my checking account. The rest I don't see. So like every month I'm close to zero. That's literally the only way I can do it, dude. Like even this month, like come March 1st, I have only left so much in my bank account that once all the bills are taken out, it's only going to be 1,000 left, right? So that's what keeps me going. But like, I don't want to have to do that all the time. So what do you think? What's the best way to go about that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I've done as well. Is, I've taken every time I get money in the bank account, I reinvest it back into real estate. So I've been pretty heavy in real estate investing over the years. And I just save up and then find a deal and then put that money into the deal. And it forces me to basically go broke, every 6 months, every 9 months, just depending on how quickly it builds up and then how quickly I spend it. So that's really what I've done is, I basically force myself to go broke, but I'm actually making an investment in real estate primarily to basically facilitate that as kind of a, that's my retirement plan. That's my wealth building plan. That's what I do, for myself personally. And it sounds like you're pretty much doing the same thing. You're just putting it into a different account so that you don't see that money on a day-to-day basis.
Mostly for taxes, because I'm never going to save for taxes. So I got to get that out of there quick.
Yep.
The number I use is I take 25 to 30% of whatever it ends up in my checking account. So if we do, let's say 15K comes in and I had already 5K in there, I take 25 to 30% of 20K and I send that back before I pay any bills. So that way, after I pay my bills, I'm back to broke, right? But it is annoying. I tell you that. It is hella annoying. So stick to the timeline. Oh, I'm loving this video so much, man. This is great. How much time I got with you?
We got another 25 minutes, man. We're good.
All right. Okay. So year 6, I'm feeling something. Steam is coming up here. What's happening in year 6? I'm flipping the page.
Yeah. So we're here at in 2020. So I started my YouTube channel at the end of 2019. It was September. It was the last day of September 2019 is when I started my channel. At that point, I had basically kind of thrown in the towel on the Facebook leads, man. That was a big part of my business, and I just got tired of it. It was a grind being on the phone for 3-4 hours a day.
It's exhausting, right? You always have to sell yourself,
Yeah.
follow up, kind of in the sense. Did you feel like you were like, quote, begging for business? That's how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it was exhausting. And so I just kind of like threw in the towel. It's like, I'm spending money to get leads. Then I have to go sell myself on them. It was a lot more work than I wanted to do. So anyway, started my YouTube channel, just thinking, hey, I kind of need a creative outlet. I want to talk about real estate and I want to put the word out there. So I actually got my very first YouTube lead on New Year's Day of 2020. So that was pretty cool. And I got kind of lucky because this is right before COVID, when everything went online, people got locked down, they're looking at YouTube. And most importantly for us, they're moving state lines, right? A lot of people working remote. So they're like, hey, I don't need to live in XYZ city. I'm going to move. I'm going to move to Salt Lake City, Utah, right? Where I'm at for the recreation and stuff. So that year we did, I say we, myself, I did 26 transactions. And so it wasn't that much more than the year before, you know, where I was at 22, but I did 306,000 in GCI. So that came from,
hold on, again, let's take a breath here. 306K. Now, when you say GCI, this is gross, or is this what you took home?
So this is my commission after I pay like a transaction fee or a split. So that's what I take home. That's before expenses, but my expenses are pretty low. I mean, that year they were maybe $15,000, $20,000.
So we're going to say 306K was your net income, excluding your actual expenses, like basically your write-offs and things like that.
Yeah, dinners or CRM, you know.
And were you on like 100% split at this point?
Yeah, so I was on 100% split. I was paying a $500 transaction fee per deal.
Got it.
But I actually billed that back to the client as just an additional transaction fee. So I was theoretically taking home 100% of every commission.
I love that. Okay, so Dan, do you see how I knew something was steaming for year 6? So we went from 161 to 306,000. The split between year 5 and year 6 was the same, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what on earth led you just in just 4 more deals to make basically double the income? What happened?
Yeah. A big part of that was just bigger deals. You know, honestly, that's what it came down to, was bigger deals. I did my biggest deal that year was in June. I did the sales price was 1.15 million. So that was a big deal. Huge check there, 34,000 on that check.
I'm going to Vegas if I close $1 million house. I'll tell you this right now. I will be back with a cocaine addiction before you know it. But carry on.
Yeah. So my average sales price the year prior was at $319,000. The following year,
year 5.
Year 5, and then year 6, I jumped up to 471.
Wow.
So that was my average, right? So some are smaller, some are bigger, but that's what is that? That's $150,000 jump. So just by increasing my price point, I'm now, you know, based off a 3% commission, let's say, I'm now making $4,500 extra every single time I close a deal.
Do you guys get 3% by you, or is it 2.5? That's
it's right now the commissions are getting compressed. It's a lot of 2.5 right now, but we still see 3. You know, I'd say 30% of the time is 3%.
That's dope, man. Here it's 2.5.
2.5.
I'm seeing a lot of 2s and 2.25, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Thank God I've capped, so it doesn't hurt that much, but still it bothers me. Like, come on, just negotiate your damn commissions, man. And
yeah. That's something that I do even as a buyer's agent. I'll negotiate my commission all the time, you know, and often I get it up to, if it's at 2%, I'll get it to 2.5. If it's 2.5, I even negotiate 3% a lot of the time too.
How do you do that when the market's so competitive? Like, are you worried about your offer not getting accepted, or is your market not that way?
No, the market's crazy, man. I just made an offer on a townhome about 2 weeks ago. They had 44 offers.
Yeah.
So it's insane, man. The market's moving really quick. It's hot. There's a lot of activity. So you can't do that on every deal, but a lot of times if
you pick and choose when the timing is right.
You pick and choose, and sometimes it comes down to the way you phrase it. You know, so one of my favorite things to say is I'll talk to the clients and I'll say, hey, you know, these guys are offering a 2% commission. Well, I charge 2.5 or whatever I, you know, want to get on that deal. I'll say, hey, I charge 2.5 as a buyer's agent. So I'm going to talk to them and see if we can get that increased. I'm not going to let it stand in the way of doing that deal. Right. I'd never say I need 2.5 or else I'm not doing this deal for these guys. but I'm going to negotiate that, right? So sometimes we'll go in, we'll make an offer, and 99% of the time, my buyers are on board. They're like, yeah, for sure. I want you to get paid like what you deserve, right? So I go back, talk to the listing agent, and I just tell them, I say, hey, you know, these clients are the types of clients that everybody loves to have because they value the work that we do as real estate agents. And they want to make sure that I get paid a full commission here. So therefore, we've written it in the offer that the seller needs to pay a 2.5 or 3% commission on this deal. And just phrasing that, even in an email, I get that successfully completed probably 60 to 70% of the time.
I didn't even consider that as an option. So I'm going to be doing that because I've been paid 2% a few times, and it pisses me off because it's essentially a 25% pay cut. It's massive. It's not just a 0.5%, you know, it's huge. So I'm learning some things here. One thing I want to note is, like, you did 26 deals, but your price, when you say higher price point, sometimes people think we got to sell $1 million homes. You do not, because those homes don't sell as easily or as quickly, right? They take forever and it's a pain. But he was selling $371,000 homes, and the average like dual income household can easily afford a $500,000 home. Monthly payments like $2,200, $2,400. You know, each person brings in $60K. They can afford $1,200 a month, and like it's a very, very understandable price point. So that's good that you clarified that. Now, of the 26 deals, break it down. How many came from YouTube and how many came from your like sphere of influence and other things you do?
Yeah. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 15 from YouTube. So that's what, 60% from YouTube.
And are these buyers and sellers like a healthy combo, or is it, would you say dominantly buyers?
Mostly buyers. Mostly buyers on this. Yeah.
They don't care. Paycheck's the same. So
I actually prefer buyers. I think they can be a little bit easier. You don't always have to negotiate commission, even though we just talked about that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to have that conversation like you do with sellers. You're not worried about the price as much. You know, sellers are like, I want to maximize the price I get, and you know, blah blah blah. I'd prefer buyers. If you get a good system in place, buyers are easier than listings in a lot of cases.
Can we touch on that? Because I think a lot of times people talk about being a listing agent, but then they overlook, like, you know, like in finance, you have like, you know, you want to diversify your risk, right? And in real estate, if you always get listings, it's fantastic when the market is like where it is today, where like, oh my God, every listing will sell.
Yeah.
But in about 3 years or so, when the market does, you know, it could be next month. We don't know when it is, right?
Yeah.
The people who have buyers have guaranteed checks. But the people who only had listings, they're going to have 30 listings, though none of them are selling.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going to have 30 very frustrated clients versus you, who might have maybe 5 or 6 frustrated clients, but like 15 buyers who love you because you're getting them 50K, 20K, 30K below asking offers, right? Yeah. So I think having that balance is important. I don't mind. I mean, I honestly, if once I get me a showing agent, bring them buyers in, because all I have to do is the consultation and then just, you know, have a few phone calls throughout the process, and it's over with. The time is the same. So
exactly, man. Yeah, that's a big thing. I love buyers. I'll still work with listings. It's just not really my focus. But I'll work both sides. So yeah, I think I said 15 deals from YouTube. The rest, I had a couple past clients in there who decided to upgrade. I had one client sell his house, move out of state. I had another client sell their house, buy a new one. And then the rest of the deals for that year were just SOI, people I knew. Friends, family.
Now, are these SOI deals, are they coming to you like on accident? Are you on like, are you out networking? Are you on social media? Like, are you trying to get them? Or are they just kind of one of those, you know, every year God blesses you with a few on your lap? Is it one of those situations?
Yeah, I mean, one of them was a family deal, so that was pretty easy. The rest of them, 2 of them came from my escrow officer. So she actually referred somebody to me. And then the rest of these were just people that I knew in my local market, you know, just through random stuff, through community or through the neighborhood or, you know, whatever. So it's a
like right place, right time, good, like, you know, they knew about you, things like that.
Yeah. I've never been good at like following up with SOI or being heavy into networking. I'm trying to get better at that. It's tough though. Just not really like my personality naturally. So really, it's just kind of word of mouth, after a couple of years, people know that, hey, you're in the business. You're the guy that people need to talk to.
I
So
love that.
deals kind of pop up out of nowhere.
Beautiful.
Just like the one you got this morning, right?
I actually got 2.
Well, hey, there you go.
Great day. It's a great day.
Absolutely, man.
Year 7, we're going into 2021. This was my best year ever. So it seems like from what we talked about yesterday, it was going to be your best year ever. So what happened in 2021? I imagine you were heavily on YouTube. YouTube is probably on fire now. You're making local content, supporting anyone watching. He's making local content like about Utah, living in Utah, top 5 things, and we'll link all his info will be in the description. So what happened in year 7? How many deals? How many came from YouTube?
Yeah. So this year, year 6, I did 12 million in volume. Year 7, I did 18.4 million. Again, price point jumped up. I don't know how many deals this is. This looks like it's maybe 32 transactions.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So I'm back up. I'm back above the 30 mark, which is great. 32 transactions. And again, just continuing to push that price point up. And that's one of the great things about YouTube is you get these high quality leads coming through. And, so that pushed my price point up to my average was 614,000. So of course the market went up, but to go from 471 to 614, that's a pretty big jump. It also depends on the type of people I'm working with. So that year, last year I did 450,000 in GCI. So it was a good year.
I'm writing every 0. I'm not going to put 450K. I wrote every 0. I'm taking notes. Okay. That is fantastic. And of these 32 deals, how many came from YouTube?
Yeah. So let me just tell you how many didn't come from YouTube. I have 1.
That'd probably be easy.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 did not come from YouTube, which means I did 21.
Okay. Perfect.
21 from YouTube.
So now that we have covered your 7 years, right? I think here's what I've learned from the 7 years. Okay. If you had just done absolutely nothing and let your business grow like the organic way, you would have been what we would consider an average agent, right? And I think this what separates an average agent that's complacent versus somebody like yourself, right? So you would have done like 1 deal, then 4 deals, then 7 deals, then 9 deals, 11 deals. You would have been in that range, which is what a lot of agents are, quote, like the experienced agent. That's what they're doing, right? But the difference in where like you kind of separate the two between a top producer and the average guy. And the only difference is instead of being complacent with those easy deals, you put in the work, you added an extra lead gen that would generate the other business. That's when your business starts growing exponentially, right? So and then every year while you're going exponentially from like first Facebook leads, then YouTube, you're also still building, like you still have this side, but you're kind of bringing them together, essentially doubling your business and having more control, which is what I'm seeing. And then ultimately, this is the beauty about marketing. And this is why it took me a minute to learn this. But when you are getting business through marketing, you have so much more control and it's so much of a better experience on the type of business you get. I think you mentioned like on YouTube, you can control your price point because I tell everybody in the coaching calls, the content you make is the audience you will attract, right? So if you're showing us $600,000 homes, that's who you're gonna attract. Because that's I might look up best neighborhoods in Utah under $1 million, right? Or between $500,000 and $1 million. And if your video pops up, you've just attracted me, right? So I think that's what's beautiful about this YouTube thing or any marketing, is you can kind of like control it. And then once they call you, tell me if I'm wrong. When they call you, are they looking for Cody or are they looking for a real estate agent?
Yeah. So they're looking for me because they know me personally, but at the same time, they're not necessarily attached to me. They just want somebody they know that they can like and trust and will help get the job done. So that's the important thing to remember for me at my point in this business is that's kind of been a limiting belief in the past is like when somebody calls me, they want to work with me. Well, not really, man. Like there's 18,000 other agents in my market. Sure. There's at least 100 other good agents that they could work with that they would get along with and have a good experience with. So it's not about me,
basically.
Yeah, yeah. It's about having like they just want that confidence. So the cool thing about YouTube and video is that these people are watching me, right? They know my voice, they know what I look like, they know my
Yeah,
mannerisms, whatever, and they feel like they know me. So when people meet me, they're like, "Holy crap, I can't believe like I'm actually talking to you in real life. Like I've seen your
that's
videos
great.
100 times." And it's like, yeah, I'm just some guy, from
Some
Utah
guy
selling
sitting on a
houses.
nice chair with a beautiful mic and a white background. That's
Yeah,
all.
exactly. Exactly.
Making
No, especially,
$450,000 a year.
yeah,
Woo!
yeah, yeah.
You're in that different tax bracket, young man. Oh God.
Yeah, it gets
Oh man.
expensive being to the side, but I'm okay paying taxes. That means I made more money. So
And you know what? I got some tax questions for you because these are again selfish questions because I don't know how to do my taxes. So
yeah,
now that you're making
pay
an
somebody.
astronomical amount of money, actually for the last 4 years, how are you do? Are you still like in 1099 or have you started like an LLC or an S corp and get
Yep.
like how do you handle? How do you pay yourself?
Yeah. So I started my S Corp in probably 2018, I would guess. Once I got over about 100,000, this is not tax advice, but talk to your tax guy. That I was told like, hey, you're over 100,000. You should probably get an S Corp. You're going to save a little bit of money. And as you continue to grow, you'll continue to save more and more money because of that.
Have you
So
seen that to be true, or are you noticing the same?
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do save. I mean, last year my tax guy told me I saved somewhere around $20,000 to $30,000. I don't remember the
That's
exact.
huge.
Yeah, just for being an S corp. So huge benefit there. The real secret, though, especially for us real estate people, is buy real estate. You can do investment real estate, and you can do a cost segregation, is what it's called, and you can write off a lot of your taxable income. As long as you're considered a real estate professional. Again, not tax advice, just look into it a little bit further. But I was able to actually wipe out about 90% of my tax owed last year through cost segregation. So
Not anywhere on YouTube can I find that information. Who is a scammer calling me? I apologize. There we go. I have scoured YouTube. Okay. Nowhere can I find that information. So God bless you for sharing that with me because I have like a list of accounts I'm meeting with this week. So I will be bringing up cost segregation to see what they tell me about that. So I guess these are all logistical questions. When I watch interviews, I hope they never ask. So I'm very glad that you're very open. And anybody watching this should be grateful as well. Go subscribe to his channel in Utah. Send him business. And also, if you are in Utah, hit him up. We'll discuss the team side towards the end here. But
yeah.
So you get paid. So your brokerage pays your S corp, right?
Yep.
Then do you give yourself the entire check, or do you have yourself on payroll? How do you do that?
So I'm on payroll, so I give myself a payroll. I right now it's about 4,000. Actually, no, it's higher than that. It's about $6,000 a month that I pay myself on payroll. And then the way that an S corp works is you have to give distributions to yourself, basically like mini bonuses, if you will, that you pay to yourself for the rest of the income. So what you pay through the payroll is taxed at a different rate than what those distributions are. So that's where the tax savings comes in.
This distribution is a lower tax, correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you pay yourself on payroll, you've got like unemployment, you've got like workers, like all those BS, taxes that are along the way. You got to pay like payroll taxes and corporate taxes and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hefty, but yeah, the disbursements are a little bit lower.
Okay. So that's literally what I'm looking, because I'm at 138 from real estate and total, like I'm at like 145, right? And if we go net income. So that's what I'm worried about. Because I don't even want to know my tax bill this year because I didn't do it right. I didn't know I was going to make this much, so I didn't get an S corp, but I'm getting it this year. But like I'm terrified of what my tax bill is going to be. Like it's probably going to be $40,000. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's like 25. Because I could write a lot off, right? But still, it's disgusting. If I could save that 25 into a house, phenomenal. So, oh my God. And I'm glad we discussed this at the end because I want only the people who watch this far to get this gem that you just threw out there. Okay.
Yeah.
So fantastic. Now, let's quickly go over. In the beginning, you said you want to be a real estate investor, right? Mm-hmm. So and you mentioned you've been buying real estate. So tell me a little bit about your portfolio. Like, what do you buy? Do you buy cash? Do you finance? Are you like a landlord? Are you a flipper? Like, what's your thing?
Yeah. So I've got one flip right now. I'm not traditionally a flipper. I've remodeled rentals, but that's primarily what I like to do is rental properties. I've got 20 units right now. Mostly duplexes. I've got one triplex, and I actually own a 5-unit trailer park as well. So,
Dude,
mobile home. So it's kind of crazy, but mostly duplexes. And I like to finance. There's a lender here locally that will do a 10% down on investment properties, which is pretty awesome. So
how did you
I've just
find him? I
waited.
need someone like that, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal actually. I'm surprised that they offer it, to be honest. I've got, I think, 5 loans through them, with this program. So yeah, I mean, I love leverage. I think leverage is the way to go, especially if you got a deal that cash flows. Leverage is something that I believe is incredibly safe, and that's really where my wealth has come from, and what's going to allow me to continue to build my income in a safe manner is through those real estate investments.
May I ask what your cash flows like on a monthly basis? How much are you
Sure.
profiting after you pay all your expenses?
Yeah. So after I pay all expenses, that's a little bit of a tough number to calculate because some months I don't have any expenses. Other months I might have
That's fair.
$1,000 repair bill.
Maybe give me like the base, like after you pay your mortgage and stuff, just after those expenses.
Exactly. So if I take gross rents from all my properties, subtract out my payments, which includes the principal and interest, and then taxes and insurance, my sorry, camera resets. My gross income, my gross cash flow at that point, kind of adjusted gross, I guess you'd say, is about 8,800 per month.
See, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. And if I may ask, is this going through your same S corp as a real estate agent, or do you have a separate company?
It's all separate. Yeah.
And that's also an S corp, or do you have separate LLCs for each one?
It's an LLC. I actually just got that set up. So each one's in its own LLC. And then there's a managing company that holds all of those LLCs for the different properties. So that's
the management company is also an LLC, or is the management company an S corp?
Yeah, it's just an LLC at this point. Eventually it might turn into an S corp. I don't know. I got to talk to my tax guy to see if that makes sense.
How did you find your tax guy? I just Googled real estate.
No, just ask around. Find somebody in your market, especially if you're going into real estate investing. Find somebody in your market who does real estate investing. Go talk to these guys. Go to a networking event and find the most successful guy in the room and say, hey, I need a tax guy. Who do you use? They'll connect you with somebody that you need to talk to.
Yes. I love that. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Now we're approaching the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, man, thank you so much. I think hands down, this is some of the best interview I've ever seen, because every other interview is just, they don't ask these questions that I care about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad you're open enough, because I've had other interviews with agents that I don't post because they suck. Right? They're just too bland. I work hard. I do this. Yeah, but everybody works hard, right? Yeah. So what is your business looking like in year 8, correct?
Yes, I'm going into I'm going into my 8th fiscal year. So I got my license in April of 2015. No, it's actually my 7th fiscal year.
Oh, that man's on fire.
So so 2022, I guess, would be my 7th full year, if you will. But we're going to be bringing the heat this year as well.
Are you on track to do probably more in 2022, I imagine, just because I've seen your YouTube?
Yeah, it keeps growing, man. I mean, based on the leads I've got in the pipeline, what I've already closed. I mean, we're here at the end of February. I'm probably going to do, just from YouTube, I'm estimating I'll probably do about 400 to 450 in GCI. I might be close to like 600 by the time I add in SOI and other stuff. That's my goal, right? That's what I'm shooting for.
So what's your goal for you? What's your next 2-year plan? Like, are you trying to be a real estate agent the rest of your life? Are you trying to transition to being an investor, a team leader?
Yeah.
I'm setting the stage for you, my man. Lay it on us.
So I'm in a position where I'm trying to become $1 million earner. That's my next big goal, is I want to earn $1 million in a year. And that's an extremely lofty goal. If you'd asked me 2 years ago, I would have said, no way, that's impossible. Like, I'll never get there. But I'm realizing now that it is possible. It's just a mindset shift. And I'm at the point in the business where, for me, it's now about who, not how. Who do I need in my business, right? I need people to help leverage, because my schedule right now, I'm working 12-hour days, and it sucks, man. I don't want to work 12-hour days. So
especially with children, you have 2 kids, a wife, they need your time, man. you neglect your family, and you know, that's another problem you're gonna have in 10 years, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm in a position where I'm trying to find somebody to bring into my business that can help with those showings, right? Because in order to be $1 million earner, that's $500 an hour if I work 2,000 hours. So I need to be in a position where if I'm doing a task and it's not worth at least $500 an hour, it's not worth my time, right? And so showing 3 houses is not worth my time because somebody else could be doing that for a much cheaper cost. So although my expenses will go up, I'm going to get my lifestyle back. I'm going to work less hours and ultimately going to make more money. So,
man, that's what matters. That's what matters, man. You gotta enjoy your life, buy nice things. Well, at least this is my perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because I spend everything well, not everything, bro. I spend a good amount because I enjoy my life, right?
Yeah.
Especially that's why I'm making $450. You will never see me flying economy. I'll tell you that right now. I might not ever fly a commercial flight again, you know, but I might not fly more than once a year because that stuff's expensive. Anyhow. So I think we discussed you're starting a team. Are you starting a team, or is this an idea that you're floating with?
Yeah. So I've got 2 virtual assistants, and I'm really looking for that one special person who's going to act as a local assistant who can help with transactions, help with the YouTube stuff, with social media. I know you and I talked about TikTok on another time. And also like showing houses. So I really need somebody, like I just said, if I need somebody who can do those $30 an hour tasks, those $50 an hour, even $100 an hour tasks, so that I can focus on the $500 an hour tasks.
You need a 21-year-old Cody on your side, my friend.
Exactly.
That's what you need. And you know what? That individual has watched this video to the end and is ready for you. I hope to God he's in Utah. So what I will do is is it okay if I include maybe your email in the description?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, I'm an open book. I shared all my numbers here. If anybody needs help, I don't have anything to sell. I'm just an open book. I love giving back. I love connecting with people. I reached out to you, man, just said, hey, love what you're doing on YouTube. You've got a little bit of a different audience. Love to chat with you. And we've shared value back and forth. And that's what it's all about. I love
you have helped a ton. You see that little thing that says post local video? That's going up today.
Yeah.
So he has helped me out a ton. And for anyone watching, he actually reached out to me and offered like to help me out with the YouTube. And I get like people, that's like a lot of people do that and then they pitch you a course. That was not the case. He straight up just helped me. He's got nothing to sell. So if you want to work with him, I mean, I feel like anyone working with you, because you have the system to get business now. Yeah. I have a feeling they're going to make a lot more than, what did you do your first year? 6 deals?
Yeah, 6 deals and 15 grand.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. So that's
absolutely, man. Yeah, reach out if anybody needs, wants help or has questions or whatever. Shoot me an email, and I'll help however I can.
Sweet. Well, we thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Absolutely, man.
A lot of value, my friend. Thank you. Yeah. Anyone watching, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you.